My fellow gravy granules, let's not fuck about here. Here is my review of the latest Musou game, Samurai Warriors Sanada. I've tried my hardest to avoid spoilers in this, however there will be some minor ones. You have been warned. Currently I love this game. I think it's one of the best Warriors games Koei has ever made. It has made changes to the series that has been needed for years. Thankfully they've chosen these changes for a Samurai Warriors game, where the protagonist Yukimura is at least somewhat interesting and liked by a majority of fans in both Asian and Western markets. Could you fucking imagine if they tried to make this kind of game for a Dynasty Warriors series based on Zhao Yun? Oh, never mind. The story is pretty lengthy. It took me about 20 hours to complete, give or take. I say that because some of it was fucking about, as well as being on pause screens. Anyway, the story tells the story of the Sanada clan, starting with Masayuki and ending with Yukimura. Like Samurai Warriors 4, it does span from Kawa Nakajima to the Summer Siege of Osaka. Now you might think that's not a lot of battles, but you'd be wrong though. The game is split into chapters, which start with an introductory screen, much like the awful new Sengoku Basara, which tells the main events of what's going on. After that, you'll be either thrown into a cutscene or forced into conversations with people in your current town, some of which are an old style of events from Samurai Warriors 4, but with a bit more life thrown into them. They have no expressions and such. Or it will be the characters just standing and talking with dialogue boxes and their expressions next to them, like in Dynasty Warriors 8. Quite a lot of these conversations happen between each chapter and also need you to go from one end of the town to another over and over and over again. Thankfully, it's not between every battle. Even sometimes the game requires you to sneak around the town with another character and avoid guards in order to progress the story, which I thought was kind of fun sometimes. So, battles in the game are split into multiple parts which utilise different maps for each part. Nigatakahara, for example, is split into 3. The initial battle, the Siege of Yoshida Castle, and then the final pursuit of Ieyasu. The Siege of Osaka, on the other hand, is now not just one battle and is split across 2 chapters, the Summer Siege and the Winter Siege, consisting of multiple battles. As well as the main story, there are side battles which don't feature the Sanada clan and are usually major battles that happen around the same time as the main story ones, like Hasido and Sekigahara happen at the same time as the Second Siege of Ueda. A majority, if not all the battles in the story have changed map. Sekigahara now uses the Nagashino map. Why? I'm not sure. And Yamazaki now uses the Shizugutaki map, if I pronounced that right. It's really confusing if you played the previous games, but much like Dynasty Warriors 4, some of the battles don't use the full map, with some parts missing or bits added to it. So it's not always the same complete map. It's a feature I quite like. It isn't just to flip the mini-map on its side so people think it's a different fucking stage, which they've done previously, which is the most lazy thing ever. Interestingly, while Yukimura is the main character, some stages restrict the character you can play as, well, at least the first time you play the stage. The Battle of Oshi Castle forces you to play as Chacha and Sasuke, but also gives you the option of playing as Yukimura if you play it again. And some stages give you the option of not even having to play as a Sanada clan member at all. Like 2 to 3 battles leading up to Oshi Castle, I played as only Toshiie and Keiji, so that's kind of nice. It gives you a break from using the same moves over and over again, which is one of the main problems I had with Berserk Band of the Hawk, or Berserk Musou, as you will. Anyway, back to the story. Just a word of warning, if you want to call it that. Some people said the ending is disappointing, and by some people I mean one person who commented on one of my videos. To be honest, it's different from 3 and 4's ending, but it's done in a way that leads into an epilogue, which I thought was quite good actually. I rather liked it. And it references a part from early in the story. But one part I hate about the story, only a minor niggle, but happens every game, and as soon as Hideyoshi dies, thankfully that does actually get a new scene in this one, not the recycled one that was used in 4-2. It only makes a slight mention that Toshiie dies. Now, that's actually a major event. He is the glue that holds the Toyotomi together for the year after Hideyoshi dies. Apparently, just him being alive was enough to stop Ieyasu from starting his rise to power early. But maybe that's just me thinking it's more important than it should. Don't know what you make of that, but because this game uses Samurai Warriors 4 as its core, the majority of gameplay is relatively unchanged from the previous 4 games. There is, however, one major overhaul with the rage system. The rage system is now done in levels. The spheres at the bottom left no longer represent how many times you can use your spirit charge. It now tells you what level you will enter rage mode. When entering rage mode, you get the initial cut-ins of the character like previously. Then a circle appears in the middle of the screen. Well, I say the middle, it's near the top, but whatever. The left side increases when you hit enemies, and when it fills to the top, you reach the next level. The right side of the circle simply decreases over time and gets a small amount replenished when you gain a level. With each level you get stronger and different elemental effects will apply to your character. From the characters I've played, the element on the last level will always be slash or death, whatever you want to call it, your preference. I'd like to add that hitting enemies in rage mode is really weighty. On the PS4 version at least, it's like hitting stuff with a hammer. Or like finishing moves in Ninja Gaiden games. Proper heavy, if you know what I mean. Heavier than King Kong's ball bag, if you will. Hyper attacks remain unchanged, which is kind of annoying. I mean, it's annoying how 2 of them are still duplicated on all characters. I wish they'd had updated them. There would have been at least some reason to play as every character again. The only real major change is the item system again. Similar to the original Samurai Warriors 4 and Samurai Warriors 3, the items you can bring in the battle are mainly consumables like health, Masu wine, etc, etc. However, you have to buy them with materials in castle towns. It's one feature of the game I haven't really used, had to use or will ever use. Mainly it's not my style of playing, but it does seem a bit shit having to pay for them over and over again. I can imagine it's something that gets used more often when playing Nightmare. Returning from Chronicles 3 and the original games are items. This time around, items are essentially the skills found in 4.2, but in item form. Maintaining balance when being hit by an enemy, decreased damage from officers, etc, etc. All these items, however, do not boost attack in any way other than horse abilities, so they're purely just support and defense based. And in battle, they drop like mad. Not even joking, you can sometimes get around 20 items per battle. And in original Warriors fashion, there are rare items. The ones I've unlocked are essentially multiple items condensed into one. And unlike the other Warriors games, the items don't have a set method of being obtained. They drop from supply units in skirmish/trail areas, like weapon carriers in survival mode from 4.2. Another major change is the day and night cycle, which doesn't have a massive effect on the game other than when it's dark, the map is blacked out, and you can only see enemies within a certain distance around you. But you can find out where enemy officers are if you order your allies into a position. The officer's name will still appear on the map, which is... seems a bit fucking pointless, doesn't it? Also, during the night, enemy ninjas can drop down from the sky straight in front of you. Because of this system, 2 things have changed. Time limits for battles. The maximum is now only 24 minutes long, as opposed to 90 minutes long. I mean, who the fuck used to take 80 to 90 minutes per battle to complete a stage? Obviously, it's meant to represent hours in minutes, so sort of like FIFA in a way. And secondly, the graphics have been reworked in this title to make that system fit in. The game does look a hell of a lot better, and maps have much more detail on them. A comparison should be on the screen between this and 4.2. That, as you can see, there's a lot more like foliage and stuff in this one. It does make the Anagawa map, or what used to be the Anagawa map, lag like fuck though, which is actually one of the first stages, so yeah, a bit annoying. So if you think that's how the whole game's going to perform, you're wrong, but it's annoying. Hopefully they fix that in a patch. Another thing to note is that objectives in stages have been reduced. There used to be around 12 objectives per stage on average in the old games. Now it's significantly less, with around 5 to 7 per stage, 2 of which should be bonuses. Finally, the last gameplay changing feature is the Sanada coin mechanic. Basically, if you talk to people in the castle town, you get given Sanada coins, up to a maximum of 6. In battle, you can use these when a prompt on the screen appears, usually when your allies are in the shit, basically. The effect they have on the battle is essentially the same as tactical bonuses in Samurai Warriors 3. Like an allied officer will appear to hinder the enemy, your allies get a buff, you get a buff. It can be quite useful when you don't have a second character, but it doesn't affect the game so much that your allies will be defeated instantly without using them. There are 6 new characters in the game, one of which is an NPC. and 2 of which use the Creative Warrior Spear and Sword movesets. In addition to this, all previous playable characters are available. Some are unlocked during the story or unlocked in the castle towns. There are also many of the unique NPCs returning from 4 empires. You know, the ones made from the edit character parts. Goto Matabe and Nobukatsu Oda are examples of this. However, they do revert to the original spear and sword models. None of the female characters from 4 empires make it into this one though. Despite there being edit character parts in the game, you cannot create your own, which I thought was pretty shit. Anyway, enough of that. Like I said, there's new characters to talk about. The new characters are Masayuki Sanada, which is Yukimura and Nobuyuki's dad, the 4th leader of the Sanada clan. His weapon is a poleaxe with a flag attached to it, and his moveset is normal type. Cha-Cha, one of Nagamasa and Oichi's daughters, and is one of Hideyoshi's wives as well. Her weapon are hairpins, one of which she will hold and the other she will pull out of her hair when attacking and place back. Kind of like Toshiie with his spears in a way, she's charge type, which surprised me a bit. I thought she'd be special. Sasuke, a ninja that trains under Hanzo and then later joins the Sanada clan, known as the most famous of the 10 Sanada Braves. His weapons are arm blades, gauntlets with blades attached to them basically. He, like all the other ninjas, is a hyper type. Katsuyori Takeda, one of Shingen's sons and his successor, if you could call him a success. He uses the spear moveset and models. Hidetada Tokugawa, one of Ieyasu's sons and the 2nd Tokugawa shogun. He uses the sword moveset and models. And finally, Lady Muramatsu, Masayuki's first child and older sister of Yukimura and Nobuyuki. She is the NPC, so she doesn't have a moveset. Sad face. Ooh. All the character designs in this one are pretty great. I can't say I'm a fan of older Masayuki though, but Lady Muramatsu and Cha-Cha's designs are spot on. Shame Muramatsu is wasted on an NPC though. In addition to these characters, there is an aging system. Throughout the story, certain characters will age, however it is only a handful. Some characters like Kai will maintain her youthful appearance throughout the whole story, while Yukimura will go from child to old man, and while she stays at 19 or whatever the fuck. The characters that age are Yukimura, Nobuyuki, Masayuki, Cha-Cha, Muramatsu, Hidetada, and, wait for it, Ieyasu, which isn't even on the game's website. It has everyone else and both their forms, but not Ieyasu. Just keep that in mind. Of these, Yukimura is the only character that has their moves change when they get older. His child form only has 3 charge attacks and cannot use rage mode. You also can't upgrade his weapon, which is a bit annoying. Teenage Yuki uses the Samurai Warrior's 4 moves, and his old version gains 4 new charge attacks and a new string for charge attacks. He plays like a Dynasty Warriors character essentially, and he gains new Musus. I really like the new characters, especially the new Yukimura. His new moves are just so over the top and it's fucking amazing. Cha-Cha is also quite good. She looks kind of like Nagamasa, but fights similar to Oichi. Trail and skirmish areas are a new addition to the series. These areas are a series of smaller maps where you fight small bands of enemies and can find materials. Some, if not all, the areas do bear some importance for the story, such as Yukimura and Muramatsu going to Azuchi Castle to find their dad. That becomes one of these areas. Some of these areas require you to avoid enemy patrols, otherwise you fail. These areas become slightly annoying nearer the end of the story, however it is a nice change from conventional Warriors battles. Also, they are slightly lazy because some of them do reuse maps. There is one area which uses Sekigahara. Basically, if you look hard enough you will find that they're actually just reused assets, which I thought was kind of annoying. Anyway, Castle Towns are also a new feature in the series, which before the game came out people liked to compare them to the Castle Town in Dynasty Warriors 7 Extreme Legends, which they're right in a sense. It's a fucking town and you walk around it in the same manner. Actually that's wrong because you can run in these ones, so fuck them. In the Castle Town there are several facilities and mini games which acquire and reward the player with materials, which I'll get to in a minute. The 3 mini games are fishing, which nets you better fish, get it? You get better fish if you press circle when the arrow reaches the red point. Trying to get better fish makes the arrow move faster. Crop growing nets you better veggies and flowers. It requires you to press circle as fast as you can to fill up the gauge. The shrine minigame changes an item you give it. You get a choice of 3. It will shuffle the 3 items around and then you pick one. The fishing and shrine minigame require you to wait until you can get the reward. The fishing game can also be done in the trail areas. In addition to this, there are facilities. Traders, which will sell materials for you to use at the other facilities and will buy unwanted materials from you. They also enable you to change costumes for your characters if you have any. Stables let you buy horses or the panda if you're in Osaka for gold. A weaponsmith where you can upgrade weapons in a variety of ways, which cost both gold and materials. Weapon attributes are now exclusively offensive. There are also 7 new attributes to add to your weapons. You can also remove attributes and buy new weapons. New weapons bought share the same grade as your equipped weapon, but do not have the same traits from the start. That is another thing I should add. Using a weapon upgrades the grade of the weapon. So when you increase the grade, you get more slots to put on your weapon. It goes from E to A. This is the kind of weapon upgrade system that has been needed in Samurai Warriors for ages. It always takes until an expansion for them to get a somewhat decent system. The mansion is another facility. It only appears in Ueda Castle though. It allows you to swap shells, which you can find in the skirmish areas, in order to unlock characters that don't appear in the story, as well as letting you swap the shells for experience points, which becomes really useful at the end of the game, where you no longer get experience points for completing the game's chapters. The tea room is another facility. It allows you to summon a character and you can gift them items or materials. Gifting them items fills their satisfaction bar. When it's full, you can use them as a playable character in the skirmishes. As soon as you unlock the character, they're unlocked for free mode, or whatever you want to call it. I'll get to that in a minute. This only unlocks them for skirmish mode, which is pretty pointless. The dojo. This is one of my main gripes with this game. While it's good because you can level up your characters without having to play as them, and then pay to break their limits past level 50 so you can reach level 100, I think it is. My problem with it is that you have to pay for new attacks on every character, rage mode levels and Musu bars. Musu bars and rage levels I can kind of understand, but charge attacks? Fucking really? To me, it's a massive step back. I'm pretty sure every game since Samurai Warriors 2 across all series has allowed characters to use attacks as soon as they level up, even in battle, in some cases. Unlocking all the attacks is a fucking ball ache too. It's not until level 30 you will unlock all the attacks, and a charge attack upgrade has 8 levels. I'm pretty sure it's just to make people continue playing the game, but I don't really think this system works, or is very appealing. I mean, I have no intention of unlocking everyone's moves, especially after everyone had every move unlocked by default in 4 Empires, and especially as all the characters have the same attacks as they previously did. There's no new attacks, there's literally no reason to play as them. The final facility allows you to view previous events, music, objectives, you know, something that should be in, I don't know, a gallery mode. And the other part of that facility allows you to replay any stage with any character, which also, you know, used to be called fucking free mode. But if you want to replay the last chapter, you can't access it from there. So some of the things in this game are fucking stupid, basically. If you want to access the last chapter, you have to leave the castle town in the same way that you play through the story. In addition to the facilities and mini-games in the castle towns, there are also civilians to talk to, some of which will give you a quest to fulfill. The quest can be completed in the skirmish modes. Usually it's defeat X enemy here, or go and collect X amount of fucking materials for me, or whatever. Some enemies are rare, so they won't appear as often. Maybe it's just me, but the replay value of the game isn't too great in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, there's loads of stuff to collect and requests to fulfill. Getting 100% in this game might take a while, however there are people that platinumed it, got the platinum trophy in about a day, so... But there's basically no reason to play as every character in this one. There's no rare weapons to unlock, as far as I know, which was one of the best things about the games, and provide a somewhat decent challenge.
Can anybody provide me with a decent challenge?
And rare items are just found at random. I just really think it needs either a new game plus mode or just another mode entirely. I had a lot of fun with the story, and it's one of the best experiences for a Warriors game, but from a replay standpoint, there's literally no reason to play this over and over. Even Arslan Musu, or Arslan Warriors A Legend, had special items to unlock. 2 lots in fact, recipes and skill cards, and that only had 2 modes, story mode and free mode. To rub salt in the wound, the only character you get to go around the castle areas when the story has ended is Yukimura. You can't change character in that area at all. As far as I know, I've fucking tried everything. You cannot change character, and that is shit. So there we go. I've no doubt forgotten something, but oh well. Oh yeah, the music is fantastic. It has some remixes, like the Sanada Brothers theme, and the new music is banging, some of which will be played in this video. It adds to the experience, especially in the last couple of stages. My final thoughts are, the game is one of the best Musu games I've played, but the replayability is questionable, which is the foundation of Musu games, is the fucking replayability. It'll be interesting to see what their DLC plan is. Hopefully they'll add some more content. You know, TLDR is great, but it does have some big issues. So there we go. If you like this video, please like, comment and subscribe. If you don't, you know, do nothing. Fucking sit at home and fist your own anus whilst jizzing on your dad's tits.
Go on fucking crawl under the floorboards and die.
And I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye. My fellow gravy granules, let's not fuck about here. Here is my review of the latest Musu game, Sanada Warriors. Fucking hell.
You thick cunt.